The longer I play this game, the more questions I have, at least from a narrative perspective. Yes, I know it's a gacha game, but that doesn't mean it can't have a cohesive plot. While it's not perfect, the story in Genshin Impact makes sense, at least to me. While the traveler is constantly getting sidetracked, they never lose sight of their goal, finding their sibling. Lately, I've been watching a lot of videos on good story structure. One of the main things they mention is giving your protagonist a clear goal. In Genshin, this is made very clear. In Honkai Star Rail, however, the Trailblazer doesn't really have a goal. At least not as far as I can tell. On the Lafu, Kafka mentions taking on the Aeon of Destruction, but that was, well, eons ago. I don't think it's been mentioned since.
There is only one thing I can tell you about the future. In the best and the worst cases, you will eventually have to face Nanook the Destruction.
I actually forgot about that interaction until I revisited my alt account a few weeks ago. My point is, whatever the Trailblazer's motives, they're vague and unclear. I'm not saying someone else can't give the protagonist a goal, something to drive them, but whatever the circumstances, it must become their goal, not some abstract idea that's never revisited. Taking down the Aeon of Destruction is a big deal. I think it warrants further discussion. The game does a good job of illustrating how terrifying and powerful Nanook is, but then we don't get any insight on not only how the Trailblazer feels about this seemingly impossible task, but also how they're supposed to achieve it. And that brings me to my next issue. We never really get a clear idea of how the Trailblazer feels about anything. At least nothing significant. Now I know what you're thinking. The Trailblazer is a silent protagonist. It's not the game's job to tell us their thoughts and feelings. But that's simply not true. There are countless moments when Honkai has no problem giving us a window into their mind.
Come closer. Even closer. Don't be so scared. I don't mind. Oh, shoot. I think I'm stuck inside. Give me a hand.
Plus, why are you getting so close? We've been here before. Now for the final and possibly most glaring issue with this game. While I loved Amphorius, it had one major problem. The Trailblazer is basically sidelined. At one point, they are literally an observer to someone else's story. I think the developers themselves realize this because in 4.0, they actually tell us, somewhat desperately, that the Trailblazer is the protagonist. Don't tell me, show me! Show me that the main character is the driving force behind the story. From where I'm sitting, it feels like they're just a passenger tagging along on someone else's journey. That was a bit of a tangent. I'm not a renowned storyteller, but as an enjoyer of stories, I notice when something's off. In my opinion, one of the easiest ways to improve a story is to have characters react to situations in a realistic or believable way. Once again, I know this is a gacha game and its primary objective is to sell each new character, but I see no reason they can't do both.
I offer my blood to consume this vendetta. I offer my heart to shoot down this injustice. I, lead Hunter Lamancha, call upon you in the name of the Star Hunt Oath. O Skybow, gaze upon this broken-legged wolf and steer my hunt toward victory!